If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
All right, Kevin, you were blessed by the touching of the buttons.
Oh, yeah, all the good stuff, right?
We push the buttons, they start the movie, they start the starting credits.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. The Podguyz Podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso, the dreamer of the small cinema, Le Sparky.
And Sparky says hi. Now, we are a little early today. We're about 40 minutes early today.
We are.
Testing out a little bit of a new time slot. That's why we didn't post anything on Facebook. Going to be on at 10 p.m. Also, we didn't post that we were going to be on at 9 p.m. either, or my sleep schedule would have been a little bit better off. I don't really have a sleep schedule, Tony. I just get 2 hours here, 3 hours there. I'm on what you call the crystal meth sleep schedule, where you just wake up randomly in hotspot places, and you're just like, holy shit, we're doing this again. All right.
Okay. I mean, at least you're in your house. That's kind of a good thing.
Is it my house though? I mean, I just found a microphone. I mean, I'm just, I'm rolling with this idea, man. We got some guests on today. Well, it's just husband and wife. I'm just realizing you guys have the same last name there. That's good, right?
You would be correct in that, sir. It's the beautiful and sensuous Andrew and Carissa Pierson.
I like how I was first, so I'm good with that.
The A comes before C. They some salespeople like to put the woman's name first because they're like they're like, just so you know, this is her decision. It's like, wow, man, how dare you? How dare you?
No helping you today, is there?
No, there's none at all. Are you guys in the same house right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we are. I'm upstairs in like the studio.
Yeah.
Carissa's down because we've tried it before, and she's always up here, and I'm down here, and it looks weird. She looks like she's my agent when we're doing a podcast, so we separated ourselves and put her in another room.
It's a smart idea. It's a really smart idea. I like it. That's it's better instead of having a shared square like some people do the shared Facebook profile. Or the whole shared Facebook. Like, we're just going to have a together Facebook. Have you seen that together Facebook?
That's a progressive way of doing it, I think.
It's a very strange thing. I always think that somebody got beat up in that relationship whenever I see that happening, where it's just like, it feels
Trust
like
is out the window with that. What can we say?
Get your own Facebooks. It's fine. It's totally fine. If one of you are going to, do anything as far as cheating or beating, I mean, probably not a good time anyways. Tony, I'm dealing with a little bit of lag here right now. I have no idea.
You are on your side, sir.
Yeah, what the hell? Fucking terrible Zoom.
Hopefully it clears itself out. But anyways, Carissa, Andrew, you guys are working on a new movie, of course. So we'll get the business out of the way. What are you working on? What are you crowdfunding for?
I'll let Carissa do all the talking. I'm just an actor.
Yeah.
Stuntman, actor.
Stuntman, actor. What? I'm just
bartender.
That guy in the background.
Yeah, everybody likes to go to Andrew. They think he knows everything about the movie and he does everything with the movie. But what they don't realize is that, unfortunately, you have to have a crew and you have to have a lot of other people in regards to that. So we're currently working on a soldier's descent. And that's what we're currently working on right now. We're currently in the pre-production aspect of it, and we're doing our funding.
Awesome.
Now, what is the play-by-play? How does that work?
Yeah. The play-by-play in what aspect?
In the aspect of crowdfunding, the startup, the beginning part, instead of just going out there, going on podcast and saying that we're funding, before that all happens.
Well, before all that happens, we got a script from Phil Herman, and it wasn't called A Soldier's Descent. Andrew and I worked on creating the title for our project. It was called Barney. And Andrew,
I like that. Well, hold on now. I like that name. I had this theory that everyone
purple dino. I'm sorry, I didn't like the name of it at
That's
all.
not what I was thinking of.
You know, I have this theory that every guy, every person, every male looks like a Barney or could be a Barney. You know, so it's really easy to cast for. Is the guy's name Barney in the movie, or no? Did you just scrap the whole thing?
No, I didn't scrap it. I kept Barney's name. I kept his name.
Is Andrew Barney? Does Andrew play Barney?
Yes, I casted him as the lead.
It's such a good name to cast too, because literally anyone could be a Barney. It's a fat guy's name. It's a skinny guy's name. It's a medium-sized to muscular guy's name. Now tell us about Barney. What is he up to in this movie?
So basically, in this movie, Barney gets deployed, and it's a fictional film, and he is deployed during the Iraq aspect. He goes out, and he's gone for a good year, probably a little bit more than that. In the middle of all of that, he gets captured, which you get to see that during the movie. Judy, his wife, believes that he's dead. He's finally comes back to civilization, to the civilian world. And upon that,
who was she played by in the movie?
What's that?
Who's she played by in the movie?
Leonora Shelfo from Scream. She played the cheerleader in the original Scream. If you remember that.
Yeah.
She's the blue. Yeah, she's the one that plays my wife in the movie.
Shit. Okay.
Now I'm just gonna assume that she moves on with her life romantically. So how long is Barney assumed to be gone?
About a year missing.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. You know, if it was like 2 weeks and you're like, I don't know if he's coming back. You know, so we should just
Andrew.
Maybe
I would wait for you. I would wait for you.
She starts crying. She's like, the worst part about it, his name is Barney. Could never take him seriously in bed.
Barney!
No, it's literally 2 weeks and be like, today that might actually happen. We're talking about Desert Storm 1991, a little different era.
People really did wait back then. Now they'll just be like, oh, I haven't heard from you in a couple hours, we're done.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been a lot easier to cheat back then, too. There's a lot less technology, too. You know, the only way my dad got caught.
The paperwork's going through in 24 hours Tony. Kevin.
Okay, but the only way my dad got caught is because the sneaky neighbor across the street was watching him bang out the neighbor, too. So, like, holy crap, right? Like, that's the only way he got caught. Is because one old man, you know, was watching. And then he
was upset because he wasn't getting a little.
Maybe. I mean, this was before the invention of Viagra.
Thanks,
so
Dad.
yeah, no big deal there. So Barney is gone for a year. The woman moves on with her life because he's assumed to be dead. And then he that's got to be a shocking scene right there. Is that an emotional scene when he realizes that his life is no longer his life anymore, even though he thought he'd get right back to it?
Yeah, that is a big piece with the movie. You get to feel that pain that Barney feels and the pain that actually Judy feels too, because it's like, surprise, I'm back and you've moved on.
Now, is the guy that she moved on from Barney with better looking or what? Is it, you know,
looks pretty good.
Did she get like a Barney 2.0, you know, because you don't.
Zach Vasquez, a friend of mine, plays Kevin, who she moved on with. He's actually younger than me. I'm an old man, believe it or not. I don't look like it. I'm an old man.
Listen, when you move on from a Barney to a Kevin, it's always an upgrade. I'm sorry, Barney. You know, just throwing it out there.
I have to agree with you on that one.
No name bias. I'm just.
Zach does look good. He does look good. I played with him in Alien Horde and Clown Motel 3. So yeah, him and I have worked together before, and he's a fantastic actor, and he does look good. So we have to have someone that look good.
I think the reason people hear crowdfunding, they were normally the knee-jerk reaction is get your own money. You guys are Hollywood stars. What's wrong with you? And that's not even close to being the truth. Am I right?
Yeah, that's totally right. I think a lot of the negative comments and a lot of the hate is just unwarranted because people just don't understand independent filmmaking, and they don't understand what goes behind that.
I mean, literally, just to film the movie, it's probably 25 to 30,000 just to film the movie.
Oh yeah,
Not
easy.
not even like when we have our celebrities on there, post-production, location
Talk
rentals,
about
special
logistics.
effects. I mean, you're talking on a
Crew.
bootstrap movie, 100 to 150,000 for a decent movie that would, we're looking at limited theater distribution. 100 to 150 is a bootstrap decent indie movie.
Yeah,
But
bootstrap is right, because especially if you want to meet the minimal standard of Slam Dance or a Sundance Film Festival budget, it has to be. I think, what is it, 40,000 now, or what is it up to?
Yeah, I think it's 40, 50,000 at least.
That's a lot of cash. Like back in the early 90s, 80s, these film festivals that are well known now used to just be, okay, get in, here's, $1,000 entry fee, put any movie you'd like up there. And as they became more popular and, bigger actors, it's kind of like the third party candidate in these elections talking smack on the two parties, and all they want to do is become the two parties anyways. They want to eventually be a bigger thing than what they are. So the film festivals, I think it was during those Tarantino early 90s Reservoir Dog, big, box office pop movies, where they're like, wait a second, we just gave these guys how much free promotion? How and there's some stars in here too. Maybe we jack up the price. And they were, in their defense, they were getting rid of a lot that shouldn't have been there. A lot of low quality movies where you have critics not even wanting to go to grade these movies because they know that they have to sift through a lot of crap. And I mean a lot of crap, where you're like, well, why would we waste our time coming here? So it's kind of a win-win, but man, that minimal budget is tough to meet, just especially like if you could make a movie full of volunteers and the acting is great, you don't need any special effects really, and you're just there for the scene by scene and the portrayal and as the storyboard unfolds itself, and you could do it for like 10 grand. Those are the movies that aren't getting seen. Have you guys ever made something like that recently, where you said to yourself, oh my God, we've got such a small budget and this looks really good, but it just doesn't cut it financially to get in the one of major film festivals?
We haven't, but I've been part of it. I mean, I do a lot of horror, so horror can be everywhere from going on YouTube all the way up to iMovies that are going to be in the theater at the end of the year. So it's literally everything in between. And everyone's like, Andrew, you'll never put yourself on a cult thing like a toy doll movie or something crazy like that. And I do. That there's just a spectrum of horror, and there's people that follow those cult movies. So, it's crazy not to. And I've seen what people could do with $10,000. It's amazing. I mean, It's not quality enough to be in a theater, I don't think, but it's phenomenal. I mean, it's stuff that people would watch at home, on Tubi or, probably Amazon Prime. And some of the filmmakers we know are amazing at stretching nothing. And we've seen some stuff put together. We've also seen some stuff that's not good, but I have a lot of friends that I've been a part of. Phil Herman, as an example, he's the writer for Soldier's Descent. He can take $5,000, I watched it. She sent me a screener for one of his movies, and he's like, Andrew, this is what a $5,000 budget movie looks like. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And I watched it. I'm like, okay. I was like, Phil, this is actually really good, because the acting was probably a lot better than I would have ever imagined. The camera work was good. The editing was good. The lighting was, they probably could have used a little bit of lighting in places on it, but the sound wasn't bad. I mean, I was like, wow, this is really good for literally no budget. So it's possible. In the world that we're in, we see it. It's just with A Soldier's Descent, the story itself, it's a horror. But it's a fictional horror, which they all are, and then it's based on real life topics, which has almost never been done.
Which a lot of people have
in a respectful way, at least. It's not, someone in an army uniform going around killing people. It's not satirical in any way, shape, or form. It's real life. So this is the first of its kind. It's done in a respectful way. And we actually have veterans on producer and on cast, which is crazy too, because we weren't sure if we'd ever attract them, and they've been coming to us.
When they're doing a little bit too much with the movie, when the character development runs into more box checking. And I'll explain myself. Man, I hate this fucking lagging thing right now. It's really annoying me. I apologize for everybody watching, but the audio is going to be fine. So, and when I say box checking, I'll call it Disney box checking, where say the guy Barney gets home. Oh my God, his life is ruined. He ends up drinking himself, and his friend says, he ends up drinking himself into a bar. Turns out to be a gay bar. Turns out Barney realizes he's gay. Oh my God, the whole time he's gay now. And then throughout the movie, he says, you know what he really needs? A sex change the whole time. Oh my God, now he's finding all these different things about himself out. Do you ever feel when you're watching a movie, they're lapping more onto the character, the main character, where you're like, this is a completely different person now, and it feels forced?
If you're looking at big Hollywood studios nowadays, everything's, for the most part, very careful. Everything. Doesn't matter if it's a horror movie, an action movie, it's careful.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no serious topics. I mean, a Hollywood studio would never touch a serious production that's horror, especially with the topics that we have: veteran PTSD, suicide, domestic violence, substance abuse. Those are all things that come with it. And we didn't make that up. That's stuff that our veterans told us.
That's the thing, yeah.
Didn't put that in the Snow White.
But in a major Hollywood production, they're like, we're going to be very careful. We can't offend anyone. We can't do it. And it's very watered down nowadays. If you compare movies to like back in the 80s and 90s, especially when we're looking at horror genre, it's a lot different nowadays, except I did like Sinners. That just came out. Sinners was an absolutely phenomenal movie.
That looks awesome.
It is great, and every aspect of that movie is great. It's well done. It's over the top. It's phenomenal. So
Andrew, I want to interject on that a little bit, because I think a lot of folks don't realize, but in the independent film industry, there's room for everyone and room for all ideas. And with that said, like Andrew mentioned, the big boys, Blumhouse, Sony, MGM, they're not going to give the room give light in the room for the PTSD, for what it really looks like, to portray what the character's truly going through. And it's not going to be boring, because the scary part, guys, is you could be sitting right next to somebody that's actually going through it, and you don't even realize it. And don't even realize how close you are to being close to death if that person snaps. And that's what we're going to show some of that aspect, but
love it.
Not water it down.
No, that's a perfect explanation right there, Chris. And you have one of the toughest jobs when it comes down to it. You're producing. Now, people see the words, producer, executive producer, but they're seeing it whenever they're watching multi-million dollar budget movie, where these could just be symbolic titles, so to speak. But you, as a independent producer, you're doing everything. You're finding the director, you're finding the actors, you're getting locations down, you're telling people to get locations down, you're watching people fail and succeed all at the same time. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I actually can. I mean, I just had a conversation this week talking to someone that wanted one of our roles that we haven't filled yet, and just pretty much ripped me to shreds with his unsolicited feedback. And it's tough to take, as a producer, because you need to hear what people have to say, and then go back and take a look and do some self-reflection to make sure you're on the right track. And it's tough, from trying to figure out we started looking at the script back in October, and I found our director, Andrew and I did, Guthrie Lowe, has a lot of experience with horror and can set up the frames and really bring you into the character. And with that said, working on the script since October, we've ripped that baby apart, and we've taken it and have built more character development in it. And like you said, you referenced how sometimes the characters go off on this journey that you're like, how in the world did homosexuality get in here? Or how in the world did this get in here? you have to take a look at what is the core theme of your film, what is the core theme of your project, what are you trying to get people to walk away from. And as a producer, you have to really look at that and make sure that you are sending the right message and giving somebody something entertaining so that they're not bored.
That's a big one.
Attention grabbing is definitely a thing. I mean, I've been doing stand-up comedy for 15 years now, and if you don't get them within the first, I'd say 8 or 10 seconds, you're gonna lose some of the audience out there, unless they're all on pills that are forcing them to pay attention, or they're just like that, and you're like, what the hell's going on here?
It's like the first 30 seconds of this show in general. And then we bring out Sparky with a picture and we're like, hey, check this out. And then we point over to Sparky and he just turns around his board and he shows what it's on there. He goes,
Sparky, there you go. Look at that hint right there. Run it. Run it is Godzilla with a machine gun. I shoot you. You hate me. You're going to be killed by Barney. Look at that. Okay, so it's what I think what's going on there is now, Sparky, that is a much thinner version of Barney the dinosaur, or a depiction of whatever Barney the dinosaur. And it looks like he's holding a sawed-off shotgun right there. What is the orange?
Much the alien figure from Alien,
like a purple alien.
Some good artwork there.
It was very good.
It was kind of a creepy show back in the day. There was
by the way, clearly on mac and cheese.
Like there was no.
Yeah, I noticed that mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. There was like no kids show back in the day that didn't have a creepy element to it. I remember being a kid and watching Mr. Rogers, and he was just like, hey, you want to be my neighbor? I think you're a special guy. And I'm like, wow, this is pedophilia right here. No, thanks, pal. I'm good. I'd walk away from the TV. I'd walk back into the room, and he'd be like, I saw you coming in there. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what red-blooded next-door neighbor is changing his sweater, getting into his freshly torn loafers?
Let alone if you are Mr. Rogers' neighbor, you're always getting your mail late because he's playing piano with Mr. McFeely. And you're just like, you can hear the
neighbors to Hatchie-Malachi.
You could hear the piano music going on, like, what the fuck is my mail? I have stuff to do today.
you got what's his name? Bob Ross right down the road.
Bob Ross. Now that's an artist right there. Remember when Donahue was giving Bob Ross the shit, and he was like, "You'll never be Picasso. You'll never do this. Just know that you will never be shown in museums." It's like, dude's got an afro and a smile on his face. Get fucked, Donahue. That was groundbreaking. What was that? Edge cutting or groundbreaking news back in the day that Bob Ross is never going to be in a museum. God almighty, where did we come from? You guys remember the 90s, right? You're not unfamiliar.
Yeah, I'm an old man, so I definitely remember.
Okay, yeah.
So you keep saying that. What is your secret to the longevity of youth?
How old do I look? I look like I'm in my 30s, don't I?
Well,
yeah, you do.
Listen, no, I'd say 40s, solid 40s right there.
I would say 38, 39.
I'm 39, Tony. Come on.
He looks better than you. He looks better than me.
I would say he looks more appealing than I do, but I wouldn't say he looks younger, though. I would say if you're casting, you could definitely go Andrew from 37 to like a 45 area. If you're past 45, you got to tell him to take off his hat and dust up the hair with a couple grays here and there. Just to share it, sort of thing. But now, when it comes to casting, I mean, you want them to look like a character. You want them to look like the character you envisioned in some movies, and in other movies, there's a lot of flexibility. It gets very insensitive in some environments when it comes to casting. I used to wear glasses whenever I'd go out for a casting call, and I'd have glasses on. They would say, we're not casting any nerds or accountants in this one, sort of thing. Very thin frame to myself, so you get typecasted as the skinny nerdy guy. And if I didn't have my glasses on, they'd say, it'd be great if you had glasses. We'd be able to cast you, no problem. It's like, dude, I can put them on right now. No. We already found somebody.
Not too late.
It's too late. It's too late right now. But have you guys ever found yourself where you wanted to cast somebody to look a certain way, and you kind of passed on somebody because they didn't look the way that you wanted them to?
Carissa, you're the casting director, not me.
I know.
And you know, it's not a bad thing if the answer is
not
yes.
about to step on toes. You're not
touching
to
that.
crush
Listen,
dreams.
the answer's supposed to be yes.
No,
Of course it's supposed to be yes. Every time it's supposed to be yes.
Well, that's what casting is. I mean, you are literally saying you don't look the part. You look the part. You're broad. I mean, that's literally what casting is.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've actually have had trouble with this area because the reality is I'm casting for certain ages to fit certain roles. And yeah, if you look like you are trying to tell me that you can fit a 20-year-old and you look like you're 50, I'm sorry.
You're a 50-year-old guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of women have come to me like, I really want to be in your movie. And I'm like, you don't fit the age group I'm looking for. And no matter what I do to change your makeup, your hair, it's not going to work. It happened the same with a couple gentlemen that I talked to, and I had great conversations, but they just didn't have the personality, the projection.
You just can't force that narrative sometimes, where it's just like, look, I know you're anxious, you're eager, you're ready to do this part. I think we're going to take a hard pass, just not the age group.
If you're making a cake and the ingredients call for brown sugar and not powdered sugar, you go for the brown sugar of every brand first. And then let's compromise from that point. If it calls for that, in my opinion. It's when it comes to how many times have we seen a 30-year-old playing a high schooler and everyone thinks it's hilarious nowadays, where you're like, oh my God, these are obviously 20 and 30-year-olds and they're all in high school and they're delivering lines to perfection where they say, oh, but we can't because my dad won't let me out. It's like, sir, are you sure you're not a dad? You look like you can have
welcome to casting,
yourself.
right?
What the hell?
Now,
and then,
even in the casting world,
no,
Kevin.
I've seen it happen before, Tony, where it's like a group of high school girls who I would say half of them would have probably done porn, and you know it, and you're like not good at porn or whatever, but like holy shit, 2 of them are porn stars already. And those people that are, if your cast is too good looking, my theory, if your cast is too good looking, your acting is going to take a dive because these people are relying on their looks to get parts, and they get parts, no problem. I mean, Andrew, you're and Carissa, you guys are both appealing looking people, but you don't rely on that to get by. You know the type that I'm talking about, the ones that look like they came from, the molding of plastic surgery, and you're like, are you sure you're 30? It's like, yeah, I've always just had this. I
100% agree, Kevin. I'm going to cut you off for 1 second.
Cut me off, yeah.
There's one particular person who is riding high on that OnlyFans niche of not necessarily going into not into OnlyFans anymore, but started her movie career. Daddario. I forget her first name, but
great reason to interrupt me while forgetting a name. I love it. Thanks for doing that.
Damn it. But she's been in a ton of movies, and no matter what you see in Hollywood, you happen to see Alexandra Daddario, by the way. You happen to see her in quite a few different films. Now, not necessarily that there isn't an influx of new actors that they haven't introduced into Hollywood, but where do you guys see the niche that breaks that mold, where there's A-list echelon types of actors that are getting played over and over and over and over again in different movie roles, and not necessarily letting that bottom echelon kind of sneak their way in to the top echelon?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at some headshots here of Carissa Pierson and Andrew. Very good looking headshots right there. but not good looking enough where you're like, these guys don't have any ability sort of thing. Carissa has certain characteristics, and so does Andrew, to their faces that show a personality and a soul is there. Okay? just throwing it out there. But you could, and then how about this? This is something for you guys on IMDb Network. Right underneath it is Carissa, and then Andrew is right there, and then Val Kilmer pops up. So you're in the right. I swear to God, I'm not joking. It's like right there. But yeah, Val Kilmer pops up. Now Val Kilmer did pass away, so if you guys are in any kind of niche right there, it's right next to Val Kilmer. But it's all right. Yeah.
He was huge in the
80s as far as looks go, and
he had
too. So,
but he was okay. So like there are some, very good when it comes to looks, like a Val Kilmer. I always say if you're looking for Ryan Reynolds, but you need a Jewish version of him, you have Paul Rudd. And then you're ready to push out. They're like, we would rather Ryan Reynolds be Jewish. Do you have something for us? And they're like, we have a Paul Rudd. And they're like, perfect, amazing, an everyman.
People's Man of the Year.
Yeah, like I watched that show. This is that movie. This is 40, and I didn't get it being 39 and all. I was like, I don't know
how much I took that with a grain of thought, Kevin, when they introduced Paul Rudd as Man of the Year, and then the next month they put Donald Trump on the front page.
Yeah,
I was like, no, I'm good.
I don't know. You see, those are things that kind of used to mean something and always meant less and less and less every, like, Person of the Year, Man of the Year. Woman of the Year went to Caitlyn Jenner one year, and I'm like, well, all right. Why not? Because why not? I thought you were going to bring up the OnlyFans thing. I thought you were going to bring up Amanda Bynes, because she was all over.
No. We'll get into Amanda Bynes.
So Amanda Bynes was going to be, she has already done the OnlyFans thing. Now she said that she's not going to post any sleazy comments or content or whatever. And when Dan Snyder was asked about her doing OnlyFans, he said, isn't she a little too old for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? There's a joke for you. It's okay to laugh, guys. He's a creep. No one would ask him about her OnlyFans, where he, if for those of you that don't know, he was the alleged sexual assaulter of Amanda Bynes when she was on shows such as All That and The Amanda Show, of course.
Damn.
Yeah. I went there, Tony. I did it.
You really
all
did.
All the mom groups can come after me now and call me a shitty person. Thanks.
You freaking cannonballed right in, buddy.
Thanks for that. My kid can't get in daycares now because of comments I made. You're changing the world, people.
There you go. Well, let's get into Carissa. Carissa, I'm going to read a little bit about your mini bio on IMDb. Of course, she is the CEO of Deathstalker Productions.
Deathstalk.
Now, Deathstalker
There you go.
Deathstalker Productions. When did that start for you guys?
Oh, that started about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were sick of working for production companies, and you said, "Funk it, let's do our own."
Actually, no. I actually am a critical care nurse, and I'm tired of that. And I was sitting next to Andrew in a movie theater watching Terrifier, and we looked at each other and we're like, well, it's time for us to do something different. And we could do that. We could do something. And we had the discussion of that and the discussion of what that would look like, and to support one another, because I have no interest really in being on screen. I have more fun behind the scenes and creating and making a production, and whereas Andrew has more fun being the actor.
Yeah, we're gonna stir the pot a little bit. Andrew, how bossy is she?
There you go.
No, not at all.
Oh God, Tony loves using the word.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I killed her. I killed her in Jacker 3. I gave away the movie right there.
There you go.
Spoiler alert. Jacker 3.
I killed her in Jacker 3. She's like, no, I can. Phil Herman came to me and goes, Andrew, I want you and Carissa to be in the movie. And I'm like, I can, but Carissa's never really done
was Jacker 2 called Jacker the Second Coming? or no?
It came out in the
No.
90s.
Give it like a
90s, I think.
I don't think they had that.
no. I
But
mean,
as I recall, Andrew, you came home and said, "Yeah, no, I told Phil Herman you weren't going to do that." And what happens when you tell a Scorpio no?
Oh, she's like, great. I could absolutely be an actress and do this. I said, do you know you're gonna have to memorize lines and all that? It's not just us standing around delivering lines and eating things and whatever you think we do. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, Phil, okay, she's gonna do Jacker 3, so that's fine, and she's gonna get killed on it. And she's like, this will be good. I'm gonna get killed in the movie. And I'm like, glad someone gets excited about fake blood all over him, because I certainly don't. And I do a lot of horror movies. So I'm like, you realize what this is going to be like? Oh, yeah, I grabbed her. It was funny. We were in the back of our rental car. We had Guthrie as our director was directing the scene for it. Was really did about 10 minutes of the movie for Jacker. So I'm in the car and we took the headrests out. The cameras are right there. And they're like, and then the first try, and I said, well, I'm going to go around, cover your mouth, and start stabbing you. She almost died. I went boom, boom. And she's like, oh, yeah, it looked real. The first take, I was like, you couldn't get better than this, because I thought she was going to kill me in the first take of this.
That really sounded like a phone call. That really sounded like a phone call between OJ and Nicole Brown. Like, I'm going to come behind you. I'm going to put my hand around your mouth and start stabbing you. And
that's literally what happened. I grabbed her, like, boom, and started stabbing her in the car. And she grabbed my arm, and I'm like, you're not moving that.
Now, to prevent certain stabbings like that in a car, you can always go to merchbooth.com, go to the podcast section there, and grab up a t-shirt of the Podguyz podcast. Life-saving gear for events such as those. Sorry, shameless plug there.
Shameless plug for it.
Shameless plug right there. But we do sell life-changing miracle products that look like a t-shirt, but do a lot more. And if they don't do a lot more, I would say you should go on the highest rated TV network you can find and sue us. Call us what you will.
Liars.
And, call us.
Damn artists.
Save you.
What's that?
How does the t-shirt save you?
Does it
have a knife in it?
It's going to scare me away. It's going to scare the serial killer away.
We take it to this, we take it down to this, what can only be called vagabond, this homeless looking guy. He's got long fingernails, but he's convinced that he used to be Jesus Christ in the past life. So we have him bless the shirts, and we figure that's good enough. And we do test out the shirts, though. We throw rocks at them and eggs, like eggs on a mattress. Remember those, durability tests from back in the day, and
they are hammer tested, by the way.
So you're rich. You're rich is what you're saying. You said throwing eggs at the shirt, so you're rich, right?
Hold on. That was tens and thousands of dollars of research right there. We were doing it in front of
Was that before they killed all the birds, and now we have
those eggs are $5 each. What are you talking about?
And Carissa,
crowdfunded merchandise.
$60 for a dozen eggs.
Yeah, crowdfund our eggs so we can throw it at the shirts to see if they're durable enough to take on a stabbing. That's the kind
by the way.
That's the kind of, see, look at that t-shirt right there. It looks amazing, right? It's got the black and white. We were going to use color, but then they were like, that's going to cost you guys a little more. So we went for the black and white out of respect for more money for us. I know what you're thinking. Damn, that's smart. It was a smarter idea. Yeah.
Anyways,
I want to get back.
Wait. Carissa's background is in radio. And of course, she held the position of promotions director for a number of radio stations as well. What particular radio stations did you work for?
Oh my goodness.
So many.
I don't even remember how many they were, but
insignificant.
Montana. I worked up there with Andrew Pierson, who wasn't Andrew Pierson at the time. He was Michael Knight. And I worked with him in Salt Lake City at a radio station. What was that one called, Andrew? I don't even remember. It's been so long.
U92, Utah's Beat, hip hop.
U92, Utah's Beat. That was when Andrew was the whitest boy in hip hop.
Ooh, okay.
In Salt Lake City, yeah.
I could see that going over like a fart in church.
Let me
It's
tell you,
controversial. We do all kinds of controversial things.
We do. We're very controversial in this family, and we went to it was a parade, I remember, if I recall, and it wasn't in Salt Lake City. Where was that parade at, Andrew, that we were at? They were calling us so many names.
No, that was Provo. We were at right outside the university in Provo, and it was 4th of July, and we were. I made the whole staff dress up. The DJs had to wear polo shirts for hip hop station.
You were good.
Tucked in.
Oh, yeah.
Tucked in. Polo. I'm like, no.
Classy.
The general manager's like, listen. I've never seen a DJs dressed up so nicely in my entire life. And I'm like, well, we got to. We're running. They think we're the devil. They're like, oh, devil worshippers, get away from those people. And I'm sitting there going, where are we living? What is going on here?
They called me a devil worshiper. They called me a Satanist. They threw stuff at me.
Wow.
It was so much fun.
Now, Carissa, did you ever feel like you should have started praying to the devil for protection against that kind of stuff?
No, I didn't think that at all.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, if they're already calling you devil worshipers, you have to embrace that shit and just be like, and call on to Satan to smite them, because now everyone's worshiping God. That's a long line. You want to go to the shorter line, devil's right there. You go to the shorter line, he's like, all right, we're cooking now. Of course I can get rid of those. Who do they believe in? God? I got you. Smites them all. A lot of fire, a lot of fireworks or whatever. But yeah.
Well, not to say my boy Beals, but
the reality of being in horror, people don't understand it. They don't understand. They look at me and they're like, "You've got to be crazy." And I'm like, "I'm not. I love horror. I love. I loved being the victim and being killed. I like fake blood. I like to watch a fake blood cannon just totally go all over the place."
I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those genres that you're able to portray some of the darkest parts of human behavior, and show everybody, because not everyone's going to see somebody murder somebody, in most case scenario in their own lives. But if
the reality of being a critical care nurse, and I've worked in critical care trauma for 30 plus years. I've been a nurse. I've seen more things than it would pale all of you.
And I did want to focus on that. So like, once you do see something like that and you see a scene of somebody suffering and dying, and from your own personal experience, you could say, cut, that's not right, or cut, nailed it. Am I right?
Totally. Matter of fact, I'm very proud of my proof of concept, and I know Andrew's probably going to roll his eyes because it was a huge argument in our household when we were building the proof of concept, even though it was just a matter of maybe a 4-minute scene to just, you do the proof of concept video so that people can understand what your movie, get a little taste of what the movie's about. And we had a lot of arguments about my guts and of what they were going to look like. And Andrew was like, they better look real. And I'm like, you don't even know what guts look like, dude. I do.
Andrew,
she is already knocking you down.
Andrew,
sorry. Listen, I froze it was 17 degrees outside. I'm running around with a t-shirt on in that video, if you guys saw that, for Soldier's Descent. And I'm like, okay, they yell, cut. This guy's coming over with this huge jacket and throwing it on me. I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't get sick. And then she's like, okay, jab in, open it up, take the guts out. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, here we go. And I'm like
warm
soup. My hands are freezing right now. And I'm like, these look real. This looks good. It turned out good. I mean, when you're doing horror, it's all in layers when you're doing those things with practical effects. So it's a lot of sleight of hand or sleight of camera. So it's
you show them what you want. You show the audience what you want them to see in that regards. Absolutely.
The reality of that aspect of showing the audience what you want, they don't even realize that, there's so many people in that scene that's outside of the camera frame trying to make that scene happen, and watching and witnessing what's going on.
And if you watch that scene, when I'm stabbing the girl on the ground, her mother is out of frame 3 feet behind me going, And we had to, because of safety on the set, we always say these are prop knives. Everyone pass it around. This is what we're using. Does anyone have a real knife? It needs to stay locked up in your car when we have safety meetings for on set. So she's watching me with a prop knife, and then we did a couple of takes with it, and I'm like, fight me some more on it. And then the girl, I'm like, and this is, the knives are retractable, so when you're going, it looks like you're really just going to town. She broke it, and I'm like, I'm glad we have a backup of this. And I'm like, here you go. She's like, do I get to keep it? I'm like, yeah, you broke it. I'm going to throw it. Oh, wow. Is that because I broke it? Sure. You get to keep the fake prop knife. Here you go. But it's amazing how many people are literally, we make it look like it's just you and the victim. And there's 30 people standing 2 feet away.
Wait, there's always something as far as even in the upper echelon actors that have portrayed in many movies. I'm sure you yourself, Andrew, you've been in 150 plus movies, correct?
Yeah, I've seen, we're about 145 or something crazy.
145, right in about
as an actor or producer. So yeah,
is there? And this is actually asked to Robert Downey Jr. and the guy who played Thor. They said, what was the one thing that you took from set? Not necessarily that you weren't supposed to, but had in your collection that was so cool that you were just like, oh, it was a one-off.
Let's see. I would say
Carissa, can you hold it up in the air?
I don't even think I have it. I've taken some knives from some of the I literally I did it by accident. I was filming a movie in August, and I was playing military, and I had these knives, and I was like, and I was bored on the table because we were, and I'm like, watch this. And everyone's like, you're crazy. And I'm playing with these knives, and I ended up walking off the set with it. No one even knew. I literally was like, somehow I packed all my stuff away, and I go, and I'm at the rental car place, and I'm like, I can't bring that. I had to leave it. This is what happened. Left it in the rental car because I couldn't take it on the airplane. It was already like my bags were checked, and I was going to return the rental car. And I'm like, oh no. So I literally popped open the thing, threw the fake knife in there, and left because they weren't going to let me through security with a prop knife. But
Sparky was actually there during Sparky was actually there during that situation, and his depiction's a little different from what you're saying. Sparky, flip that board around. It says, cut. Wait a minute. That is not how the wood chipper works. Can somebody catch my legs? And wood chipper for the win. Wood chipper for the win. Now we did have earlier this year on the Podguyz podcast, we were talking about, I guess, Audrey, whatever the hell her last name is, her boyfriend or husband killed himself. And it's always, well, how did he do it? Because, it's a terrible thing. I guess he was depressed or whatever. But we did have a bracketology sort of thing of worst ways to kill yourself. And wood chipper what is the worst way? Wood chipper came in first right there. Toaster in the bathtub didn't really make it after the second round. But wood chipper, we figured you going front ways, you going legs or head first. It's going to be a tough time. It is.
You guys have watched a lot of horror movies, I can tell.
Way too many.
Have you guys ever been pulled over and had a prop gun in the car? There she is. I knew it.
There she is.
Carissa, could you tell us a little bit?
Prop gun, and it was an axe.
Prop axe? Did it have blood on it and that, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God! Jesus Lord! Yeah, how did that go?
Dog, circle them around. Let's do it.
They just asked me if I had anything in the car, and I said, yeah, no.
I remember so that happened on the set with movie I was in, Man in the Box, and here it's me and Kevin in the car, and Kevin's already like, he's a black guy, right? So he's like hey, maybe you should drive, you're from this area. And I said, it doesn't matter if I'm from the area, if you're not from the area, you drive. I'm not, I got booze on my breath from the night before. I don't even know if I'm good right now. So you're driving around, bam, lights go on, whatever. He did a rolling stop, pulls over. We're outside of the car. There's a prop gun in the car, right? And it felt it felt kind of lopsided there, where they're asking Kevin, not me, but the other Kevin. They're like, "Where'd you buy this gun? Blah blah blah. Where's the paperwork for it? Blah blah. Why did you tell us this was in the car?" And he's like, "Officer, I swear to God." It's like
normally I'll be honest, the props are so cheap. I was playing military in one movie, and I had to take the gun up real quick like that. It's like boom, take it up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't we weren't even doing a take. It was a rehearsal. The military advisor's like, Andrew, why don't you go boom, boom, keep it close, keep it up. Took the gun up, and I was good. For 3 or 4 days, I had not broke my gun or anything. And we had gone through most of the military stuff. So my scenes, because I was one of the leads of the movie, we were wrapping up a lot of the main military. So I'm in this room. It gets stuck on a bed. It pops up, breaks off, and spins around on the ground. And I'm like, I hope we have pieces to fix this for the scene. But that's literally, a lot of times the props are so cheap. They look good. And they're plastic. The guns are literally plastic. And they look good.
You have to ping them too.
Yeah, and all the stuff where you see the bullets coming out, that's all post-production. Where you see, all that, the noise of, like, we will literally take the gun like this and let it kick back into us, and you'll think we're firing it. We're not. It's all post-production. That's the
nice
of movies. But I will say I did get pulled over back in August with do you guys know Ari Lehman?
Yeah.
Ari Lehman was in the car with me. We were working on a movie, and we were filming in Searchlight, Nevada, which is outside of Vegas. And we were in Boulder City, and Ari and I were staying in a house together with another actor or two, and Joe Castro, who was a really, really good special effects guy. So Joe and I and Ari were in the car, and Ari's in the front seat with me. He's like, Andrew, you guys see this? And he's showing me this phone, and we're going through, I had no idea, school zone. It changed like that, the speed limit to 35.
Well, listen, Ari's got a look to him that says, pull me over if I'm in a school zone. Okay?
I was like,
throwing it out there.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, he's like, Andrew, take a look at this. And he's showing me his phone. I'm like, Ari, all of a sudden the speed zone changed. Cop goes, boo, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
and you really can't
quiet. Everyone quiet. I'm going to try and talk my way out of this. I couldn't. And I got a $700 ticket. I'm like, thank you, Ari. This is awesome. I'm like, I can't wait to tell my wife about this. $700 ticket in Vegas, outside of Vegas, with Ari Lehman in the car, because we had something important to do. We had to go to Spirit Halloween.
Dude, you could have just gone.
I'm like, did we really get pulled over making a horror? We were on a horror film, and I was with a huge special effects guy in the back seat, and Ari Lehman from Friday the 13th, and we're all going to Spirit Halloween. I get pulled over for speeding in a school zone.
Well, the thing is that if your car gets impounded after like 4 or 5 days, it turns into a Spirit Halloween.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're like, what the hell? I thought this was my car here.
So I made Ari make a video to play for Carissa. He's like, we're here, we got pulled over. I'm like, you got to tell her. I'm like, you're going to tell her you distracted me in this car. And I'm like, we played the video. I'm like, you're telling her right now. I said it to her. I'm like, here, this is Ari. He's going to tell you what happened. But no, he's a cool guy. He's a super nice guy. But yeah, he distracted me so bad. Got a speeding ticket. It was double. And I'm like, you're not going to let me off with a warning? Oh, no. You were like 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. And I'm like, well, it's 55 back there. No, change to 35. You didn't see the sign? I'm like, where?
Meanwhile, you guys get pulled over in a school zone. Meanwhile, there's a kid shooting up the school, in that same day. And they're like, the crimes we can prevent.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, I couldn't talk my way out of it. I try.
You didn't give him the whole. You didn't give him the whole the eyebrows. The whole hey officer. I
was like, are you serious? I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry. I mean, I didn't see that. We're new in the area. Oh, they didn't care. Like, oh yeah, we are. We're gonna give you.
Carissa, you don't strike me as someone that's gotten a ticket though. Have you been able to talk your way out of more tickets than Andrew has?
Yeah, I have. I've been able to talk my way out, except, back in the Missouri day. Oh, yes, I have. Back in the Missouri time, Andrew decided to let everyone know on live radio, including my mother who listens to his morning show at that time, that I was running a stop sign, which I do have a problem with stop signs. and I roll right through it. And I don't know why I was doing it because I couldn't just stop. And then the next day, I'm at the stop sign, and guess what? I'm rolling right through it, and there's a police officer, and he pulls me over and goes, "Yeah, I listened to Michael Knight on the radio, and you must be Carissa." And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Please don't give me a ticket."
Always getting her in
I
trouble.
am better at talking to them than Andrew is. I didn't get a ticket that day.
I think there's a little bit of bias there, just throwing it out there, but and it's specific bias. I have this theory that the world stops when something terrible happens to a blonde woman. It just stops. And JonBenet Ramsey proves the whole thing. Do you know how many kids go missing constantly? And they're like, wait a second, a blonde child has gone missing. Holy shit. Ask the parents, and any answer they gave you is fine. But no, are you guys, where are you guys from? Where are you located right now?
Well, right now, I always describe it as we are in the witness protection plant.
Nice.
And we're in North Carolina, in the middle of a lot of woods.
North Carolina.
That's when you know the United States is just a name, because we have places sectioning themselves off with north and south and west, and on the
Dakotas, the
Dakotas,
the
West Virginia. You couldn't just get together and call yourself Carolina, or get creative and pick a new name. Like, we both like the name Carolina so much.
How about New Carolina? That would have been.
New Carolina would have worked. It worked for New Hampshire. There's no Hampshire out there.
That's true.
There's a New York. Could have just been York. We're dealing. We could figure this out, man.
Well, Carissa, I do have to ask this question because, of course, the IMDb, the crowdfunding. Where would people sign up for crowdfunding if they were looking to fund the movie?
I really like you, Tony. Thank you so much for that question, because that's my favorite question to answer.
Nice.
All right, that's enough time that we have today.
There we go. We have to cut. Oh my God, we have to cut.
Cut. And all right. No, we're going into it.
All right, now you're sucking. No, they would go to Indiegogo.
Indiegogo.
And, Indiegogo, that's where our campaign is for Soldier's Descent. And we have a lot of good perks on there as well. If you want to be in the movie and be a part of the movie and be immersed, we have a perk for that. We have wonderful T-shirts as well. You can also get lots of different things. You can be in the bar scene with Air Force Amy. We have wonderful perks for that you could actually meet Air Force Amy and meet Barney and a lot of the other cast members that are going to be there.
That's really cool.
Air Force
what's the going rate for the let's say even see a minor funding? What do you guys have it set at?
I think
Andrew, I'll let you answer that.
Never.
$25 for a T-shirt. You can donate without a perk as low as $5. So.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, we need every dollar that we can get. We really do.
All we need is just 1 million people to donate $5, right? And then you guys could just make your $100,000 movie, and then get yourself a bonus. I mean,
it'll have amazing special effects.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would have
amazing special effects anyway. So
well, I'm saying like extra. It'll be like watching Transformers or something.
Have you guys ever watched one of those movies where you see the budget to it and you're like, oh, money laundering, cool, because there's no fucking way, not a chance. $3 million, and you're like, oh, okay, no known stars, no special effects.
Andrew's gonna come out as Optimus Prime and be like, hello, Autobots. Roll out.
a lot. And what's funny is we were just reading an article today, and if you ever stay in the theater and watch all the credits, nothing is being produced in Hollywood anymore.
No.
It's all outside of the United States. All the post-production's being done overseas to save money. The major studios are outsourcing everything. Hollywood's a ghost town.
Well, there's a good reason. Yeah, there's a good reason for that. So smaller cities that were getting these nice perks, they were getting money. Well, the smaller cities decided to increase the prices and increase the prices because they, and it has a little bit to do with politicians as well, and the people that they're trying to represent, where they say, oh, don't worry, next time these guys come by for a movie, we're going to jack the price up on them, and then we can all give you a tax cut from that point. And that might be true for like 1 year, like one cycle of 1 year. But then, it's a money business. So they say to themselves, well, what's the name of your city again? Cool. Never coming here again. We could recreations of cities in smaller cities outside of America. You can make parts of Croatia look like America if you really want to, if you really want to build around it. And you can have smaller cities getting greedy kind of did it, in my opinion. A lot of the
horror films recently have been filmed out. Maxine was partially filmed in LA, but the other ones was a Trip XXX, for the precursor to Maxine, filmed in like New Zealand. Pearl, same thing, filmed in New Zealand, because it's cheaper to film outside the United States. You don't have to deal with unions. You don't have to deal with the mandatory pay structures and things like that. So a lot of the companies are saving money and outsourcing them. We're non-union as far as the movie goes, so we're not SAG or anything else. We're not bound with some of the restraints that Hollywood has, and that drives the price up as well. But I mean, I understand why it's there. We just don't have to deal with it. Just like with the topics in the movie, we can go further than a Hollywood studio because we don't have people to answer to that outside of general standards for the public. We don't have anyone going, well, that's too controversial for the movie.
Yeah, a lot of agencies, a lot of these agencies like to stay together too. They like to keep their talent clustered together. So if you see a lot of the same actors in the same movies, or sparsely together in the same movies, you can kind of connect the agencies together, and they're all union. It happened in the one movie I like to say was such a piece of shit disaster money grab. Tom Hanks in The Terminal. You ever see that movie?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Every single one of those actors are represented by the same agency, and even the background characters, every background character is all union represented too. And they use one location, and then they use the TV prompting bullshit where that's all pre-recorded anyways. So I don't care how much they said the budget was, you could make that for under $100,000 if you really wanted to. And then Tom Hanks does this. Is it a Russian accent? Is that what he was going for? Because
it's been a while. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah,
oh my God.
It was
Ukrainian-ish.
It was
not. It wasn't. He didn't hit it.
No, he didn't. No, and you could tell when he hits it. Early 90s, you had, I don't know. There's certain times where an actor hits a character so good, it's like anything after they're doing from that role is just them playing somebody. After Forrest Gump, it's just Tom Hanks playing a guy, and for example, Apollo 13. Now, I apologize about this lag. It is pissing me the hell off right now. My Wi-Fi likes to say, "Hey, here's your Wi-Fi bill." It's like, okay, great. So where's my connectivity? Pay us the money.
You're acting as much better than Katy Perry in a Blue Origins thing.
Yeah, they solved some problems up there. They showed how much money you need to go to space with. It's basically it turned into a thing. But we did come a long way from Apollo 13 to just sending celebrities up there to be like, yeah, look at what I'm doing. Look at this. Ah!
True.
And now when you have the conspiracy theorists saying that it never happened, and then the backlash from that is saying, I think one of them said, how dare you? We're heroes. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? Both parties, by the way.
Who's got that on their little board? Sparky does.
Okay.
Flip it around, Spark.
Whip it and flip it. Whip it and flip it.
Oh my God. Hey, if your movie is set in any other country besides the USA, you have to pay the country's tariff. And And cut. It's a wrap.
But it's a
So,
wrap.
we'll just call him the red-hatted tariff man right there. Red-hatted tariff man, which it's made the news fun to watch again, where it's just like, first of all, you can all go to hell. I'm back. I pardoned myself. Oh my God. It's just a lot of fun to watch anymore. Because I thought first of all, we haven't really had a president that hasn't had a run-on sentence or an incomplete sentence in a while. Because and that's just the way it's been. A lot of semicolons, a lot of colons, a lot of commas and crap like that. And then the one before time just sounded like a stammering, like there was something broken, like internally there. And you're like, huh? Me and my wife, we went to church this past Sunday, and the one Monsignor was given way too much talking time for a person that does not know the English language. And I mean, 90% of the whole thing was his talking time. And he's
now this is Easter Mass.
This is Easter Mass. This is a big event.
That's what most of them do. They go
and
on.
No. This is the thing, Tony. There was a guy there with it. There were two Monsignors there. There was one that knew how to talk, and I think he just didn't feel like it because he's super old, right? Then the other guy comes in, and by the way, Andrew, he kept calling him the Jesus. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's just like, I'm the Jesus.
That's odd. I mean, that's out there a little.
It's a weird, it's a weird approach. Everyone, by the way, I wanted to get everybody's names there because these people were the best actors I've ever met in my life. They all acted like they knew the fuck he was saying because I'm like, there's no way. There is absolutely no way. People were just like, yeah, and peace be with you too, and blah blah blah. I'm like, there's no way. Dude sounded like remember that Tim Allen movie with the alien thing. It was kind of like a spoof of Star Trek. Are you familiar?
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy
Quest.
Quest.
Galaxy Quest was Galaxy Quest.
The aliens from Galaxy Quest. Well, they all talk like this. Dude, the fucking guy talked just like that, only add a much thicker Indian accent that sounds like he's ripping off your grandma, where it's just, I'm going to need your savings account number. Jesus needs it. I'm like, you all know what's going on here, right? My wife, she leans into me, and my wife, very smart, very beautiful. She knows many different languages. So she comes in and she whispers in the cutest way possible. She says, "Why would they make him say the words when he doesn't know how to speak?"
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, and this coming from a 5-foot-tall Filipina, like she's just like leading, and she says it so politely. I said, I have no idea why, and then, I had somebody look behind me, as if they were ready to shush, but I'm in like full fuck you mode. Like, I swear, if you shush me, I'm going to say, what? Like just because I don't, I used to do altar boy service.
Goddamn egg right down your gullet.
I used to do that crap for like 6 years. And, if you're looking at it from a performance aspect, by the way, there were no altar boys. Suspicious, right? Just none. I don't know if there was like a restraining order or whatever, or,
Wait, was there none?
There was none. There was no nuns either.
None?
I know,
No
right?
nuns?
No wordplay intended. There was this one kid that looked like he got kicked out of Dungeons and Dragons with this like weird red hair going on and a beard to go with it. I'm like, my God, this is some kind of dream team they got going on here for fucking Sunday Mass.
You got something in the frankincense.
Oh my God, it was just 2 stars out of 5. 2 stars. Just if I'm being a little bit too critical. Then the crackers were stale too. No wine even offered.
Yeah, you are. Horrible.
Just bad. Just bad.
Boo.
Would not recommend. Dear Yelp. Yelp reviewer.
Yeah, what would happen if you could Yelp a church?
I think you could Yelp a church. You could Yelp a church, right?
Can you?
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, you could Yelp a church.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Carissa's like, I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Like,
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
What kind of horror movie would that turn into? No, this is a great issue for a horror movie. Like a priest that gets yelped into bad reviews and then goes on a murderous rampage in the name of God.
Starts killing off the critics. You know, that criticize.
yeah.
That starts
What was that new
criticizing.
Kevin Bacon show where the priest was a demon? I was like,
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's Kevin. It's tough though because it's Kevin Bacon. You know, if he's not dancing, he's trying. They're just focusing the camera on his feet movement, running away from tremors. You know, like, and that's remember the old shots where they're like, oh, how do we prove these actors are running? Oh, quick, just take a picture of their legs moving. You know, like whose idea was that? Where now us as audience members were like, oh, of course they're running. Look at the legs. Continue.
See, it's no longer is it Footloose. It's now Loafer Loose.
Loafer. Yeah, he's a lot older right now. I guess him and Kira Sedgwick turned out to be second cousins. Isn't that weird?
Go figure.
Yeah. Ancestry.com was like, well, Kevin Bacon, as fate would have it, you're fucking your cousin right now, and you're married to her. So, you know, congratulations. You're still kind of creepy. You know.
That is creepy.
I got to meet Kevin Bacon the one time. I was working at the Mohegan Sun Casino inside of a restaurant there. But it comes to the back entrance, right? Short guy. And he says, "Hey, can I get 2 cheeseburgers and blah blah blah?" He's giving me his order, and we're slammed, right? So I said, "Yeah, buddy." I said, "Order right up there." He's like, "Listen, I can't. I'm trying to stay in, you know, low key here." He's like, he looks back and forth. He's like, "My name's Kevin Bacon." I said, "Oh, my name's Kevin too. Nice." Oh shit! And then it hit me. I'm like, "Oh crap! This is Kevin Bacon here." Yeah. I didn't even. He had like this he had this little gray goatee thing going on too. No, he had no bacon, by the way. He already had
no bacon.
You know, swear to God, no. He didn't order anything like that. But no, I got him his crap. He threw me $50, and I said, "Do you want the change?" He's like, "Nah. I gotta go. You know." And then out he went because the Bacon brothers were playing at Breakers that day. This is going back like 8 years ago. Super nice guy, much shorter than you would expect, like a Tom Cruise being that short, much shorter than you would think, which just plays into show the people, you know, a little bit of camera manipulation right there. Tom Cruise, I think the one movie that they couldn't do it on was Top Gun, where he was like told to wear lifts. Is that? Yeah. Because what's her face was like 5'10". Sparky's got one more picture for the road right there.
Uh-oh.
Nicolas Cage in The Unpassion of the Christ. Next time I get 3 stars. Look at that. The Unpassion of the Christ right there.
The Unpassion of the Christ.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage has been doing some weird stuff recently.
I liked my favorite Nick Cage movie is the most recent one I watched, which was him playing himself.
And Long Legs, you mean?
No, he played himself. I guess a fan wanted to fly him out or what, an unbridled talent or whatever the hell the movie was. Oh, it's great. It was
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal was in it. I mean, it's just he just played into his own stereotype so well, because how else could you? You know, and it was one of those things like when John.
It would have been funnier if they had another actor portray Nicolas Cage as himself.
That would have been nice. Yeah,
that would have been such a slap in the face.
I would have loved it.
So, one last question for you guys, Carissa, Andrew, dream portrayal of a movie as far as the horror genre. If you had to take a classic and redo it in some way, what are you taking for all the marbles? Which one are you redoing up?
I'm going to let you take that one, Andrew.
There you go. I think Carissa is offended by the question, honestly.
No way.
She's offended.
She's like, I don't know.
Some that need to be redone.
I would say it's been redone a ton of times.
Oh, no.
But Children of the Corn, it's never been done the right way.
Oh,
I don't care what anyone says. Stephen King, it was never done. It was never given the justice. I think Stephen King movies are really good or really bad. And Children of the Corn, they've tried to redo 100 times and they can't nail it.
It does. Right. You know, they you got a Tommy Knockers fan club out there for Stephen King, and then you have the I don't know why there's such a freaking fan club over the movie It doesn't need to be there. Anyone who says, "Oh, the book was better," I want to see your hard drive right now, because what the fuck? What are you talking about? The book was better. There were Stephen King. It's almost like you can tell when he started drinking as the production moves on, where you're like, "Oh, well, I don't know if that's much of a twist, rather than just a fucked up thing to put in there."
They're doing Cujo again. I don't know if you guys saw that. Netflix is making
really?
Cujo.
Yep.
And it's a pit bull, I guess, this time. So I'm in the original Cujo, a guy played in that Saint Bernard outfit, believe it or not, in a couple of the parts. So I don't know. I'm anxious to see what comes out of Cujo. Monkey that came out. I happen to like it. I mean, he has a very dry sense of humor, Stephen King. So Monkey, I happen to like it. I mean,
love that
most people
one.
are like, it's not good. It's just, I liked it. It was just, I like the sense of humor in it because it's just very dry. I mean, and that movie I liked it, but the Stephen King, like, I think the only movie he ever directed was Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
And I like Maximum Overdrive. It was good. Stephen King never directed anything since then, and that was one of his books and one of the movies he directed. But I'd love to see, actually, besides Children of the Corn, Pet Cemetery. I still don't think anyone's ever done it the right way.
I don't know.
But
I don't know, man. I think the original was just certain scenes were brought so chilling. For example, and kind of comical to a degree, where you see the child run over by the car, and you see the struggle to get, to save the kid. The way that was shot, the sequence, how that was shot, where it has you, if this is the first time you're watching it, it has you reaching out like in your head, like, come on, get the kid. And then, of course, you have the new marriage, and now the child's dead, and now you have grieving parents to deal with too, and you still have one kid left over. So the actors, to touch on all of those emotions, really hit it. And then you got the creepy neighbor, dude used to play Herman Munster. I'm not gonna come off with his actor's name, but he was always he was just there, sometimes dead is better. That line driven right in. And I think it kind of got shark jumping around the flashback scene, around the whole Pascal popping up like we're in the fucking Sixth Sense movie sort of thing, like that's where I really don't think that was needed at all. The cat coming back, scratching everybody, being a fucking jerk, then the kid coming back. Yeah. You know what? I don't think they needed the kid coming back. I think that they needed the cops to stop that situation right off the rip, so that way you can leave more mystery to it. That way, all we could be left with is the cat coming back, and we could say to ourselves as audience members, like, maybe it wasn't even their cat. Maybe it was just circumstantial. Maybe it was just a regular stray cat instead of like a more sentimental, like a mental attachment sort of thing, since the family's been going through a lot of trauma. And maybe the neighbor just made up that little Micmac tribe bullshit. But then they got way too literal with it, where now the wife is back. She's got some fucking bullshit going on with her head. And you could tell that the director's experience before time was just in music videos alone, because the imagery used was that of attention gaining, and with music videos for the shock value, if anything. Every entrance scene towards the end of that movie, every entrance scene was that quality of a music video at the time, where you're waiting for music to start, but it doesn't. And it kind of, it adds a unique quality to the whole movie at the time, because no one else was kind of portraying scenes in that in that way. And Pet Cemetery 2, unnecessary. I mean, why do we even, why do we do that? They were trying to really catch on to the whole Terminator 2 thing, where they're like, what if the kids grew up and now they do some stuff? sort of thing. It was a cash grab in a major way, but I didn't mind it. I did mind the remake of Pet Sematary.
Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Bloodlines
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's like remaking The Shining. Without Jack. Yeah, you're not going to get it better, you know.
I think they are remaking The Shining, I thought.
And you know what? Some people will watch it, and because like the problem that The Shining has right now is back in those days there were no cell phones. There was nothing that we had today, and you need that exact environment. Now the worst they're going to do is, oh, I don't have any service on my cell phone. And that's I get it, you know, that's an element that you could go towards, but I think the story told in the original, where Kubrick just did an outstanding job from start to finish, and you know, maybe the Nicholson fucking a ghost thing wasn't needed, you know, because why would I need to see that, you know, like I got you, you know, but the chilling scene where McGrady's in the bathroom. And, you know, you get the whole you've always been the caretaker here line, and that stick on that the camera stays on his vacant but yet intent
where he goes,
look, you know. Yeah,
you've always been the caretaker here.
Yeah. And I have that stare. I have that exact scene stare on my wall. Freaks out my wife every time. But just that portrayal of like, oh shit, this guy, you know, is a real ghost sort of thing. Like this guy is a real entity.
I still like the amount of blood coming out of the elevator.
The blood elevator thing. Yeah. I mean, that's a little.
You've never seen anything like that in horror
especially
again. That comes close to it.
Especially at that time, the casting. I mean, top to bottom. You know, you got that little kid. He's a creepy little kid. You know, like you don't cast the kid with the personality. You cast the kid that's been, you know, that looks like he's already come from a troubled home or whatever. You know, now every time you see some kid portrayed like that, you have audience members saying something like, "Oh, that kid probably has autism. They should have had him checked before time. How dare they work him like that? This is insensitive." You know, and they'll walk out of the theaters for all the wrong reasons because we're into some kind of new world dumbness going on right now. And in certain scenarios, you know, they're over juking the stats, in my opinion, on certain things. But no, that movie, it couldn't be redone. I think Brian from Wings redid the one. Remember that? That's the only.
That was the made for TV one.
Made for TV, yeah.
That was
it came out in like '96 or something like that.
I was watching that. I'm like, what the hell? Why is Brian from Wings angry now? Like, you can't fucking be still the guy from Wings, and now you're playing. I don't know.
Andrew, there has to be, and even for you, Carissa, there has to be a definitive role in the horror movie genre that you would click to at one point in time that you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that this happened. Is there a specific time and a specific movie that you click to and you're like, man, I wanted that to happen? Mine in particular is in the House of Wax. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. It had Paris Hilton in it, and I was so happy when she died, and she had that the pole shoved right through her head, and she like slid down the pole, and I was like, oh my God, I love the special effects on this on this scene identically, like it's what everybody wanted to happen. Is there an iconic scene that you guys know of that's like something like that to you?
Yes, Friday the 13th. Oh my gosh, I can't say that I redid this scene or very similar to it with Christina Laughser. I can't really say more than that. But the one where Jason came in, grabbed the spear, and the counselors were there. Boom! Straight through them both. It went straight through. I was like, damn! I mean, this it's practical effects. It's not even CGI. It's not like something came out yesterday, but that is like one of the iconic scenes in Friday the 13th, all of them, that just I always remember. Like, he grabs a spear, takes it, and goes through both of them when they're like having
Doesn't he
sex
pick
or
him up
something
in
like
the
that.
air and then they like?
And I'm like, damn, and that was just one that just was like, that's it. That scene right there. And I'm like, you never see that anymore. And that's like an iconic horror scene that just, and it's just payback for the counselors having sex and letting Jason drown in the lake and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just, that was
damn
just
you, fornication,
payback.
damn you.
Damn you.
He grabbed, they were going at it, and he grabbed the spear and straight through both. I was like, damn. I'm like, that's the scene right there.
There is that limit you have to push in a scene where you say, how can we make the audience hate this person?
Oh,
they're like, oh, well, maybe if there's a kid drowning and they're bad lifeguards and they didn't see the kid, they're just not good at their job. It's like, not good enough. Maybe they should be fucking. Oh, okay.
Well, that was back in the day, though. I mean, horror was
tits,
blood, sex, boobs.
Yeah,
and that was like the winning combination back in the 80s for horror. It was
the
like
biggest cleavage had the biggest roles.
Yeah, I like how some of the indies go back to that nowadays, because that was a winning combination. But
except with Freddy vs. Jason, what a piece of garbage of a movie! What a money grab all around.
Let's talk about that one.
Oh my God, I gotta just let me just touch on it real quick. When the guy says, "Get off me, babe! You smell like cigarettes." I'm like, "You got it. I'm out.
Yeah, done.
I'm walking away
done.
right now." Never has a straight man said to a woman that looked like that, "Get off of me because you smell like cigarettes." Oh, my boner's gone now. Cigarettes.
You know what?
There was just an interview.
The horror movies from the 80s. What I find the most amusing about all of that is these people are like, if you look at these scenes and stuff, and they analyze it. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. This is what a horror movie was in the 80s. It was, we were bored on Friday night. We called the movie phone. What time is Friday the 13th playing? Oh, 8 o'clock. Then we went down to the theater with a date or whatever and watched the movie. And that was it. It was a date night. It wasn't, we're going to analyze the scene for practical effect. I mean, that never happened. It was just literally, that's what Nightmare on Elm Street was. That's what Friday the 13th was. That's what all these movies were. It was a date night or Saturday night thing to do, because we barely had cable. It was the one where you pressed the buttons on the box. So it didn't exist. So everyone wants to go see the movies, and no one analyzed them like they did. It was just an entertaining thing. Nowadays, they're, I have the spear from Friday the 13th, and it's like, it's funny because I love the horror genre. The people that watch these horror movies they're into it. And our fans that we have are just, I try to tell people, this is not how it was back in the day. When these movies came out, even Terminator and stuff, it was just like, okay, what's out? This is cool. Let's go see it. We didn't think any more past that as someone watching the movie. It was fun, and that's about it,
Marky's got something there. Oops, sorry.
No. I recently went to go see Minecraft the movie, and
yeah, we did too.
I like the chicken jockey. Bring me on,
chicken jockey.
I can use that.
Sparky, what do you got on the big board? Hey, Paris, why is there a pole through your head? Oh, I forgot you had a date with Sparky on Friday.
There you go.
Yeah. Factual, by the way. Factual.
Facts.
Carissa, Andrew, we want to thank you guys very much for coming on our humble show.
Thank you for having us tonight.
Our no name nothing show that nobody watches.
I don't know. We've been up there in views right now.
We do all right.
Yeah.
All right. Carissa, Andrew, if people were going to find out and get in touch with you, how would they do it? How would they check out the crowdfunding? How would they get in touch?
Well, they can get in touch with us on Facebook as well. We have Phil Herman's A Soldier's Descent public group. We have about 455 plus members. You can see some of the behind the scenes stuff for the proof of concept, watch what's going on, and see some of the campaign as well. For campaign and to get involved with the funding and the production aspect, you can go to Indiegogo and put in A Soldier's Descent, and you can take a look at the perks there as well. We both have public Facebook pages.
By the way, I love your Facebook page. If you're looking for roles, do a little donation, get a role in there. Get your butt into some seats. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And Andrew does a lot of our marketing for our production and does a lot of that piece. So he pushes out a lot of stuff so that people know what's out and what we're working on.
That's awesome. Jeez. Andrew, how about you?
As far as getting in touch, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open. You know, I have people contact me every day, everyone from fans to people asking questions from the industry. So
just
I'm
a random
really
Tuesday. They're like, "Hey, Andrew, what are you doing?"
I do. I have like, did you have a question? I'm like, I feel bad. I'm like, good. So you have a question for me? I feel bad as people are like, no, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, who else would it be? You know, and I get that often. It's really you? Yes, it's me. And it's like, you know, and I feel bad. I'm like, did you have a question for me of anything? You know, but no, we're really good at answering, you know, questions and connecting on Facebook and things. My Facebook is the most boring thing alive. So I told Phil Herman that today. I was like, my Facebook is so boring. I literally, it's all like perfect. And it's like, you know, here's some dog pictures stacked with movie pictures, stacked with that. It's like, it feels almost corporate, my Facebook page, but you know, you can connect with me. Instagram's the same thing, but we'd love to hear from people. And if you want to get involved with the movie, we really need the funding. We really do. It's a serious movie. It's one of the first serious horror movies ever made. Most horror movies do not take the topics that we're dealing with seriously. So I will say it is a serious horror movie. Someone goes, it's not a horror movie. Oh, it is. I guarantee it is. There's at least 13 unique kills in the movie, and they're graphic. And we also deal with those topics that we talked about earlier in very
squibs
serious
used
tones.
or non-squibbed?
I would go with squib.
Squib? Okay. All right. Sparky, if you were looking for us, where would you find us, sir?
Well, you can find us on every single major streaming platform, including iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, Castbox, Pocket Cast, GeoReo, Facebook on our video page, Facebook on our homepage. You could also find us on Google, YouTube, which is both videos also, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
And there's that new channel that I found out about last week is what was that channel? The new channel.
It's a good channel. I like it.
Oh yeah.
I like the channel.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
It is the most memorable channel of all.
That new channel.
Yeah.
You don't even have a name for it.
That thing.
That thing, yes.
Yeah, whatever that thing. Wherever you stream your podcasting paraphernalia, of course. Guys, I'm Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, the ever-loving Picasso, the Dunmore Daredevil himself.
Le Sparky.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Carissa and Andrew. Thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate all your time and effort, of course.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you guys next Monday. More great guests, more great interviews. Guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.